So you actually attract them with something that pleases them, and then you give them Dharma teachings. So that's the best way of...
So in the next life they would be humans?
Huh?
So in the next life they would be humans?
This, I don't know. I told you, only a Buddha knows these things. Now, whether they exist or not, I have no idea. I'd never see them, but it feels good. It feels good to at least try to do something. So they, you know, if you have a traditional Tibetan teacher, they speak a lot about hungry spirits, how they suffer and how they don't find anything. And this is something because it's blessed, so they can feed off the smell. But I know it's crazy. I mean, it's like, how do you know? Maybe they don't exist and I do it for nothing every evening. No harm done. This is it. These rituals, these practices, it doesn't harm anybody. And if it helps, if it's really like that, we can feed them. Can you imagine how wonderful? I like to feed people, also human beings. I like to cook for people and give the food to them. I think it's a nice thing to do. I like to give. It's very nice. Not because I have to, but because I want to. Okay, so what you can do, what's your name? Huh? In Bal. What you can do, you can visualize, when we do the purification practice, you visualize your friend next to you. That the same thing is happening to him. We can at least try. I mean, if it would be as easy as that, then great. But at least it shows our wish and willingness, wanting to help them in a beneficial way so that they stop doing negative actions. But again, you know, we can't. Not even the Buddha can. The Buddha can show the way, but then we have to go it ourselves. This is why we have to become fully awakened beings. This is why we practice the spiritual path, because we don't know how to help. It can be harmful, it can be helpful, we don't know. But you all really be assured, if the intention is good, then, you know, there's this story about Shakyamuni Buddha. Before he was a Buddha, when he was a Bodhisattva, he was on a ship, and there was a pirate, okay? So, but he said, I will go to the hell realms for this killer. That's what he said. He took upon himself the karma of killing so that this person wouldn't kill 500 people. Do we have such intentions? You know, it would be like saying, I stopped the person from doing this negative act, but somebody has to go to prison, so I will go. Do we have such strength of compassion? I doubt. This is also when we get damaged, will we still be happy about the act? You see, the strength of the mind of a mother or a father, this would be something like, child falls into the fire, they would jump after them. They wouldn't wait to call the fire people. And even if they couldn't save the child, they still feel good about their burns that they at least tried. If we have this strength of mind, then yeah, interfere, go, you know, stand in front of tanks and all these kind of things. But it's so difficult to understand why we are doing negative actions. But when you learn about the result ripening as the habit, then we start to understand that it's an impulse that they have. So they can almost not do otherwise. And then we're also not getting so angry and we're not getting so judging, like they're not choosing to do these things. They have these views that this is a good thing to do. Like, for example, eating seafood also. Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, these people who know that this lobster is being dropped into boiling water, they just cannot see the suffering of that being. This is why they eat it. So you're going to judge them because they can't see the suffering? Be happy that you can see the suffering. Okay?
One last question. What about if you are clean, if you haven't done anything, but your friend thinks you did something bad to them, and then she wouldn't say it to you, but
Nobody can change your karma. If she has the power to do that, it is in your karma that she has the power to do that. If somebody steals your things, it is in your karmic imprints that they succeed in stealing your things. Nobody can change your karma. That's the law of because it's a law. That's the law of cause and effect. If you don't have the karma that somebody can steal from you, they don't succeed. So no, they don't. Yeah. But you can still try to stop her. Again, don't take karma as fatalistic and say, oh, if it's in my karma to be hurt by everybody, let them hurt me. Not like that. Because why? Because they create more negative karma for themselves.
Yeah, but in Buddhism we have something, maybe superstition or...
You need to really speak louder because otherwise I can't understand. Sorry,
In
Inbal.
Judaism we have some kind of, it's called Einara, like someone who jinx you.
Somebody who
Jinx you. Someone who's got...
puts a spell on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also have that in Buddhism. Then you do 21 taras. Number 7. Number 7 is good against protection.
Karma, not you.
Huh?
If you're clean...
If you're clean, it won't work.
Yeah.
But if it works, you're not clean. You've done it to others. That's the ripening of karma. So then when you feel how this feels, you know, that she's really spoiling your happiness. And, so when you feel like that, then you go, wow. Again, this separation, the person from the action, wow, she will have to undergo the same thing. And if I get angry now, I create a strong link. You see, when we're angry with somebody, we create a link. And we don't remember who this person was in past lives. So in a future life, if we have the power, we will be the ones harming them. So this is why we have to work with this also. Instead of being angry, that we have to understand the law of cause and effect. The victim experiences it because he or she was the aggressor of the past. The aggressor of the present will be the victim of the future. So then we have to include both in the compassion. And then try to stop the aggressor, because in order for him or her not to become a victim, not just to protect the victim. And this is usually what happens. So we have compassion for the victim but not for the aggressor, and we want to punish the aggressor. We don't care about the happiness of the aggressor. This is why we dedicate for the victims of terrorism and the terrorists, so that they have happy lives, so that they have different views and they do not need to do these things anymore. Okay, so let's try to purify a little bit. Itzig, if we're 10 minutes late for dinner, you think it's okay? Yeah. I should tell him, when I'm here, you don't have to be on time. Actually, because I always overdrew a bit. But just sit with a straight back, if possible. That's good. If you sit on a chair, then sit like Itai. The legs a little bit apart, so that it still makes a triangle. So you have some support, if possible at the right angle. But you're the only one sitting on a chair. So anyway, in case you need to sit on a chair, this is how you sit when you meditate, on a chair. And it might be if you experience a lot of pain while sitting and you need to move all the time, I think it's actually better to go and sit on a chair because you have less pain. And then from time to time do short sessions on the ground. Okay, so first thing, always you connect with the body, you try to see how is the body. How is it sitting? Is it relaxed? Is it full of self-confidence? Expressing it with an open chest and with a straight back. Maybe we can have some happiness in the mind. Having talked about karma, I know it's confusing, I know it's difficult, I know it's complicated, but still, now we have great tools to work with the mind. At least we know where the suffering comes from, and we know what would create happiness. So that gives you a lot of power over your own life. it is important that every time you do purification practices, first you build yourself up. That you feel good about yourself. You don't judge yourself. You don't start to hate yourself when we start to see these negative actions that we have done, because we need to look at them honestly. Now, knowing about the karma of habit. Knowing that we're not completely powerless, but we're also not totally omnipotent. We cannot tell the mind, stop this, and it will stop it. We can try, but it won't work immediately. So first we learn about, or we think about our Buddha potential, our basic goodness that we all have. And we can really tell ourselves, I am not doing these negative actions because I want to do them. I do them out of ignorance, because I don't know about the results. So why would you judge yourself? I guarantee you, all of the negative actions that you did until now, if you could repeat the situation, you would act in a different way. It's good enough to regret. We don't need to go any further. We don't need to pull our hair out. We don't need to feel guilty, but we need to admit. So we can go through that list. Killing, even small insects. Stealing, kind of taken what has not been given. Sexual misconduct. Flirting and putting other people or ourselves into danger. So it's not a full act yet, but it could lead to one. And of course, if it has happened, then sexual misconduct. Lying. Separating people with our speech by denigrating them. Shouting at people in a very unkind way. And saying a lot of words and things that are definitely not needed and not helpful. Then the mind, jealousy, envy, harmful thoughts, and wrong views. If you want, you can think of these things in like universal, global, because we know we've done all of them, not just in this life, but in our previous lives as well. Or you can think of a specific action that you've done. And just to feel that regret. It would have been so much better if I would have acted in a different way. Then you can visualize in the space in front of you either a form that you are familiar with in your spiritual practices of purification, like Vajrasattva, Shakyamuni Buddha, or any other Buddha, like Tara. If you're familiar with Vajrasattva, it's great. You visualize that person, that Buddha. Shakyamuni, you have him right behind me, but not as a painting, but as a being that manifests encompasses compassion and wisdom. The compassion to be ready to help us, the wisdom to know how. If that is too Buddhist, then you can just visualize a source of light. But you need, from your own side, you need to give that source of light the power to be able to help you purify these negative imprints that have not ripened yet. And it's a bit like, you buy a clean t-shirt, you stain it, all of a sudden it's dirty. But we know that it can be clean, so we put some effort into washing it. So same for us, we are washable. So you can visualize that from that source of light, or from Shakyamuni Buddha, or from Vajrasattva, from his heart. Rays of light are coming, entering your crown, sinking into your body. And as they do this, they push out everything that is negative through your lower doors in the form of black smoke or dirty water. You really let go. In order to be able to really let go, you need to have a confidence that you deserve to be happy, and you don't need to be punished in order to have a happy life. Especially if you make the decision that you are doing these purification practices so that you can stop harming others, so that we cut that karma of habitual reaction. If you do it with bodhicitta, I'm doing these purification practices because I want to be of benefit to all sentient beings. I want to become a Buddha very, very quickly. That would be the best. The best way to be able to make up for your negative actions. The best way to repay your debts. Be it direct negative actions, or be it actions that we could have interfered but we didn't. So you keep visualizing that, how this light purifies you. If you want to say mantras, you just say them silently. Either Om Mani Padme Hum, or Tayata Om Muni Muni Maha Munaya Soha, or the long or the short Vajrasattva mantra, whatever you are familiar with. But keep the visualization. It's also easier to keep the visualization if you say the mantra silently. If you don't want to say any mantras, that's also fine. Then the action of purification becomes the visualization. You allow this light to enter your body, washes out everything that could result into suffering and would be a hindrance on your spiritual path. And then, of course, if you do have a guru or a master, that Buddha that you're visualizing in the space in front of you, that is your guru. The guru that for you appears in a human form, but in actuality is Vajrasattva or Chandresik, Shakyamuni Buddha, or Tara, or any other Buddha. And when you know your master or your guru, you know that this person has so much compassion, they would do everything to help you on this spiritual path. So this time is sending this light that purifies. The more you allow it to happen, the more it will purify you. The more you open to receive the blessings and the purification, the better it will work. Seeing the Buddha as your master creates a channel for the blessings to be able to touch us and to reach us. If you do this for the first time, I know that it can sound or feel very weird, and there's reluctance of doing it, then just ask yourself. One thing is, don't force yourself, it's fine. But then just ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What is it that I don't want to let go, for example? Because very, very often we hold a very subtle view that we don't deserve to be happy. So we don't allow these purification practices to work. We don't have trust in them, and then it doesn't work. And what will get purified is these negative imprints that we don't feel yet, they have not manifested yet. So we don't feel them going. But what happens if you do serious and longer purification practices? You feel that the mind has become calmer, opener and purer. Not after 20 minutes, that's for sure. Here we're just trying it out for those who are doing this for the first time. And you see or you feel your readiness to let go of all the causes that would create suffering. There's no need to hold on to them. It's not only when we have to go through suffering that we can generate compassion. We can also generate compassion through mind training. We deserve to be happy because we want to use our happiness to be of benefit to others. of these practices, we also visualize the form that we've been visualizing absorbs into a very small ball of light. Now if that feels comfortable and you are ready to do that, you can allow that source of light to come to the crown of your head and to sink into your body. And we think that like this, our not developed potential can totally become oneness with the developed potential of that form that we have visualized, which in actuality is our Guru. It's to wake up our Buddha potential. We let them merge and unite with each other, like water being poured into water, because by nature they are the same. So there's two things we do at the end of the purification practices. One is the determination. As much as possible, I will oppose my negative states of mind. As much as possible, I will go against my self-cherishing, because whenever I do a negative action, the self-cherishing is involved in it. Whenever I do a negative action, I forget about the happiness of the other being that is involved in that action as well. So we make a promise almost to study self-grasping and self-cherishing, to do whatever we can to reduce it and to finally eliminate it. And in the meantime, to practice discipline. The discipline not to give in when we see, oh, what I'm going to say is a lie, and we think, I better not say it. Or whatever I'm going to say is not necessary and it's not kind. That kind of discipline. In the meantime, we're practicing. So that's the conventional part of it. The ultimate level, we think, actually by nature everything is empty. There is no real me, I, here, who creates a real action with a real other. If I try to find the real me, the real action and the real other, I cannot find it. All I find is lack or absence of real me, real action and real other. All I find is a dependent arising that is dynamic, impermanent, changing moment by moment. In emptiness there is no negative karma. There's no I who creates the negative karma. There's no negative karmic imprint that gets created. Emptiness is just like space, which is the nature of our mind. So we try to have an image of that. You visualize the totally clear sky, without any limits, without any clouds, without any hindrances. The nature of our mind, just space. Okay, this would be good to do every evening before you go to sleep. You think about your day, you think about previous days, and even you don't remember anything, you say, whatever I have created, even if I don't remember it, I regret it because I see it's not skillful. You say the mantra 21 times, you have the deity absorb into you, and then you go to sleep. Because like this, it doesn't increase This is not totally purifying it because we don't understand emptiness yet, but at least it does not increase. It doesn't. The dynamic process. It doesn't make it doesn't make it bigger. The karmic imprint. Then, if we want to purify lots of it, like heap chunks, then best is to go into a 3 months Vajrasattva retreat. That's very good. Anybody is done or is here? Okay. Yeah, we're coming. We can tell him we're coming. And so we're going to have dinner. Now you can go to dinner with a clear conscience. Kind of, you earned your food today. Thinking about these things, we really earn our food. We deserve it. Because we've been working very hard. So, please enjoy.